Security Week here. I know, again, we're in November, but should have done this last month. Today I want to talk about passwords. And if you're that person that couldn't care less and you think your password's never going to get cracked, big deal, you don't care, then this video is not for you. This video is for the people that want to make a good password, okay? And to each their own. So if you want to make a good password, stick around. First one we're going to talk about are what passwords to stay away from. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably the most widely used password on the planet. Okay, QWERTY. Again, combination of letters that just happen to be in a row on your keyboard. Unbelievably popular password. Okay, you wouldn't believe the number of times I've gotten into computers using those two passwords. The password of password. Again, terrible. Stay away from using that. Other ones, really popular, really easy. This one I played around with my friends. It's the openly thing. I don't break into my friends' computers. But as an example, if they have a pet, chances are their password is going to be the pet name. Okay? For those of you out there that have pets and you've got your password set as the pet name, not very secure. We want to stay away from using that. Girlfriends' names, boyfriends' names, these types of things are really easy to pick up on. A, if I know you, and B, even if I hang around the same area as you and you mention the person's name or you call your pet, very easy for me to pick up on. So step one of a good password. My recommendation is over 8 characters. Now, people are going to say over 6 enough. People are going to say over 10 is enough. For me, 8 characters is a start of a good password. You're going to want to use a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters. Not just the first letter in the password should be uppercase. If you can kind of change it up, that's going to improve the security of the password. You're going to want to stay away from common words and phrases, okay? And don't use words related to you and your personal preference. This kind of ties back into your pets, your girlfriend, your boyfriends, whatever it happens to be. So I have a couple examples here. I've used the word password. Again, we talked about that previously. Don't use password. Anyways, capital P, capital W, not bad. Also got the Yahoo. You can see a combination of lowercase letters and uppercase letters. So I'm going to call this step 1 or phase 1. Okay, that's going to make your passwords more secure than if they're just sitting there in all lowercase. Step 2, start putting some numbers into your passwords. Okay, so as an example here, I've got the same password of password, capital P, capital W, and then I've tacked on a couple of numbers on the end. Or I've added in some numbers to the other example we had there too. So this is now moving into this kind of, I'm going to call it like the second phase of security. And now we're starting to get a lot better. You guys have probably noticed that certain sites will require you to use a combination of letters and numbers. Or they may even want a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. And that leads me in to step 3 of using symbols. Now, what you can do, because now we're getting to a balancing point where it might be difficult for you to start remembering this password. Well, we have a couple tricks for you. So number 1, instead of the letter A, let's say if you use that in a password, use the @ symbol. Instead of an O, use a 0, and so on and so forth. Instead of an I, use an exclamation mark. So you can start working in symbols as a replacement for letters. That's still going to make your passwords more secure because now you're using a combination of symbols, letters, uppercase, and numbers. And so this is kind of step 3 of a password. Now, if you really want to make a very secure password, go get yourself, your nerd license plate, your cyber license plate, and just make it a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols, and get it to be at least 8 characters long. Once we go down this road, essentially there's no discernible word that you're creating. You are simply creating a combination of letters, numbers, symbols, and that's going to be the securest possible password you could make. Now, for a little bit more information, if you're interested in this type of thing, you can actually go check out this website. And I'm going to pull it up on my screen here. Okay. And on this website, you can actually test out your passwords. Now, this isn't a test for how strong your password is. It's kind of like the range of your password. How hard is it going to be for someone to crack this thing? So they actually have a couple scenarios. They have an online attack scenario, it's assuming 1,000 guesses per second. To be honest, an online attack scenario is probably going to be a little under that. You have offline fast attack scenarios. That's assuming 100 billion guesses per second. And then you have a massive cracking array, lots of computers working on your password. That's 100 trillion guesses per second. So let's take a look at a really basic password, okay? Now, this doesn't take into consideration common passwords and things like that. So I'm going to put in 8 characters. I'm going to put in the word password. You can see it tells me an online attack scenario. The range it would give me is 6.91 years. So what that means is that assuming someone was running approximately 1,000 guesses per second, it's going to take that long to do the range of passwords that one could be within. It's not saying that it's going to take 6.9 years for someone to actually crack that password, but it would take that long to try every combination of passwords within that range. Watch what happens when we add a number. As soon as I added a number to this, now I'm doing letters and numbers, I'm at 33.22 centuries that it would take to complete that range. Well, if I do uppercase, it's going to go even farther. You can see that doing these simple changes, I'm kind of walking you through that step 1, step 2, step 3. If I add in a symbol, here we go. You can really see it starts to take effect. So think about those things the next time you make a password. If you're really after creating a secure password, then take those things into consideration because they are going to make a very large difference, going to make your passwords and your accounts a lot more secure. And remember, passwords are our first line of defense. So we want those to be as good as we possibly can make them.